Will You Love Me Tomorrow was the first hit song that Jerry and I ever had as songwriters. We were married and just starting out. And Jerry had a job as a chemist, and when Will You Love Me Tomorrow hit really big, he quit his day job.
It's the morning sun.
There was quite a lot of controversy that it was suggestive because of the lyric, "Tonight you're mine completely, you give your love so sweetly. Tonight the light of love is in your eyes, but will you still love me tomorrow?"
So tell me now, and I won't ask again. Will you still love me tomorrow?
It definitely spoke for women, young women all over who were wondering if they should do it or not. Will you respect me in the morning? Kind of an attitude was prevalent in that time, and Jerry addressed that.
So tell me now.
Released in 1961, Will You Love Me Tomorrow broke new ground as the first recording by an all-girl group to hit the top of the charts. It was the first of many for the Shirelles. The success of their singles, coupled with relentless touring, put them at the leading edge of what became a girl group explosion.
There did seem to be a blossoming after we
Shirelles.
pretty much, with the Shirelles, of opening the doors so that other groups, girl groups, could follow. And when I think back to it and all of the hard work, when I say that we earned it, we earned it. And I'd like to think that we were a very intricate part of doing that, opening that door, which
I know
is true.
we were. We kicked those doors hard.
And the marvelous, marvelous.
Wait, oh yes, wait a minute, Mr. Postman. Wait, hey, 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 Mr. Postman. James, my baby's got me locked up in chains. My boyfriend's back and you're gonna be in trouble. Hey la, my boyfriend's back. One fine day, you're gonna want me for your girl. Tell him that you're never gonna leave him. Tell him that you're always gonna love him. Tell him right now. Party lights, I see the party lights. Going to the chapel of the Lord. Yeah. Going to the chapel of the Lord.
In the 60s, yeah, God was a young black girl. That was the dominating sound.
One eccentric genius was to exploit that dominating sound and achieve rock and roll immortality. In the summer of '63, the young Phil Spector seized on the black girl group idea, saturated it in the dynamic power of Wagnerian opera, and in the process helped transform rock and roll. Spector had worked with Lieber and Stoller and soaked up their rich orchestral treatment of the Drifters. Later, on his own label, he pioneered what he called Little Symphonies for Kids. Others called it The Wall of Sound. Spector wasn't just a producer. He also wrote many of his girl group hits in collaboration with Brill Building staffers like Jeff Barry.
The Do Run Run probably came about because I couldn't think of anything to write at the moment and maybe figured I'd do it the next day and never got around to it. It either means that or it means what Do-Wah-Diddy means, but with three people.
Phil Spector's production techniques influenced generations of rockers. He got the giant sound of his recordings from a surprisingly small room at Gold Star Studios with engineer Larry Levine.
This studio's just about the same size as Gold Star was, and the problem I had then was trying to figure out how I was going to get everybody in. Usually I had 5 guitars, sometimes 6 or 7. 3 pianos were standard. 3 basses were standard. Percussion, I don't know. Any guests that came in were going to end up playing. Drums, we had 1 set. At the end, we had 2. Then we had horns. And to fit everybody in was a physical problem, but it made the sound great. And when these guys started playing, we had the wall of sound.
One of the revolutionary things that Phil did was you never thought of saying, well, I'll have 3 pianos basically playing the same variations of the same rhythm. And what that did was create this rolling rumble that bounced off the ceiling, went into somebody else's microphone, and became the wall of sound. And Philip used to say to me, when we play it back out of the speaker, when the playback came back, he'd go, "That's gold. That represents gold coming out of that speaker."
Ultimately, Spector's wall of sound became his trademark, eclipsing the artists themselves, who were often interchangeable.
Darlene Love was the Ronettes. I think she was the Crystals. She was Darlene Love. He didn't care. He broke all the rules when he recorded then, because he was the star. His song was the star and his sound was the star. So the artist was a secondary item.
1, 2, 3. Every evening when the sun goes down. Whoa, whoa.
The daughter of a minister, Darlene Love had learned to sing in the church choir. Her gospel power could stand up to Spector's production and deliver a convincing street sound. Although she sang lead on records such as the Crystals' He's a Rebel and back up on countless others, few would ever know.
You gonna keep that other part the same?
Yeah.
Another of Spector's singers did manage to get some of the limelight for herself. Ronnie Bennett was the lead singer of the Ronettes, whose stage presence as former go-go dancers combined with Ronnie's titillating voice to create a new type of girl group, the Bad Girls. Long before the Material Girl, Ronnie Bennett was rock and roll's first sex kitten. She later became Phil Spector's wife.
Phil was in love with her voice before he was in love with her. I know, because he said, boy, there's Frankie Lyman. You know, he compared her to Frankie Lyman.
She almost sounded like she was 12 years old all the time. That's what Philip loved about Ronnie, was the sound that she had. He thought she was the perfect artist for the time to interpret music in that period.
Be My Baby was Spector's crowning achievement with his girl group sound. He started to look for new challenges.
I can't imagine what Phil was thinking about when he said, yeah, I want to do the Righteous Brothers. I don't, because it had been at least 90% of the stuff that he was doing at that time, maybe 100% was all female. It was all real catchy, cute kind of stuff. And so I don't know. And the truth is, I don't even know what made us think that, yeah, that would be a good idea to go with Phil.